All right. Right now, number one, if you're just tuning in, the Hawks selected Zachary Richardson, small forward for France, and at number two, as we know, the Wizards have selected Alex Sarr, and they probably got the best choice they could get right there. I'm sure they did not expect Sarr to be there for them a month ago. They would have thought they would not have been able to do that, but it fell to them, so that's great. And number three, the Rockets selected Reed Sheppard. You know, he is the undersized guard. To me, one of the biggest question marks there is in this draft class because of his size. But, you know, they selected him because they have Amen Thompson, but I do not think it will be a good fit for Fred VanVleet and Reed Sheppard to be on the court at the same time. What do you guys think? All right, we are live on YouTube now. So glad to be with you guys. It may be a bit of a delay, but we are rocking, guys, with the NBA draft. This is fun. This is fun. The draft may start right here at number 4 with the Spurs. So we're waiting to see what they are going to do at 4. The Spurs are on the clock, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you think they will go with? A point guard, a power forward, or will it be a surprise? They can get Matas Buzelis. Oh, and they go with Stephon Castle, the shooting guard from UConn. You can call him a shooting guard if you want to. He wants to be a point guard. Stephon Castle is a really solid player. It's going to be they're going to have that height on their team. If they do let him play the point guard, that's going to be special for them because they have Victor Wembanyama. Stephon Castle is 6'6", so that could be special. 215 pounds from UConn. For UConn, he pretty much strictly played shooting guard. Shot 29% from three. That's not great, but if they think his talent as a point guard will trump that, as far as he'll be able to have that advantage in the height range, that's going to be good for the team. And I'm sure with the 8th pick, the Spurs are going to be looking for shooting because they will need it. They were one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league last year. So, but Stephon Castle at UConn, he was a very natural shooting guard, fast and athletic, good crossover, has the quick twitch moves, smart cutter and finisher in traffic, very crafty player, moves well in the paint, creates space on his own, attacks the rim fast and aggressive, all good things. He can shoot the three, just needs to improve it, which I'm sure he will. He doesn't settle for threes, possibly because he's not great at it. But I love his aggressiveness and determination to get to the paint. He has an array of moves to manipulate the defense. He's a great dunker. I just don't know how it's going to translate as a point guard. But as a shooting guard, they got a good shooting guard. But I think there was probably better talent out there for them to select, unless he's going to play the point guard, which he wants to do. He moves his feet extremely well on defense. You got to love that. His speed helps him stay with his man, so defense will be there. He's one of the best defenders in this class, plays the passing lanes well, and you can tell he likes playing defense. He really enjoys it. And like I said, he said he's capable of more. He kind of fit a role at UConn, but that remains to be seen. All I can judge is what he did on tape. And on tape, he was a shooting guard. But I'm happy. I'm ready to see him with the Spurs. That's going to be a fun team. Stephon Castle at number 4. So far, according to consensus, it has been going pretty chalk right now. And right now we have the Pistons on the clock, and we will see which direction they go. There we go. All right, yep, the Pistons are on the clock. This is going to be fun, y'all. Let's see. They could use some shooting big time. I feel the Pistons need Matas Buzelis or power forward. They have a Clog at the point guard, shooting guard range. They have Ausar Thompson. They have Jalen Duren. So they have some good players, young players, but which direction will they go? We will see. And the Pistons should have gotten the first pick in the draft this year, as we know, and last year. In both years, they've gotten the fifth pick. And last year, they got Oscar Thompson. He seems to be very talented, but was he a number one prospect? Not necessarily. This year, will they be able to get a player that has that ceiling to be an all-star, a top player in the draft? We will see. We will see. We're waiting. We're waiting. I don't want to shams y'all. I'm finding it out live with you guys. This is fun. This is fun. Who do you think they should select? I think Matas Buzelis. I like Tyler Smith. It's gonna be fun. Tony said, I think it's going to be Matas. I believe so as well. He can provide that shooting and provide position at that 4 spot, because I think the 4 spot is weak for their team. It's the weakest spot, really. Unless they were to do something with Jaden Ivey, because they could use a bigger shooting guard, but Jaden Ivey is kind of a point guard. So he's stuck in that role with Cade. I think his ceiling is better on a different team. So unless they were going to go a different direction with Jaden Ivey, shooting guard or power forward should be the selection. We'll see if they go with who they think is the best talent or not. But this is fun, y'all. And they are taking their time. They are not sure what they want to do. Let's see who I have down as Yeah, Ron Holland is an option, but he does not provide shooting. I agree, Tony. They need to do what Washington did and get a bunch of picks as well. But it looks like they're going to just try to pick a guy that fits the best right now. So I would say my best available options left are Ron Holland, Tyler Smith, Matas Buzelis, Cody Williams. They can go either way in that route. I think they will not go Ron Holland because of the shooting. It's possible, though. I mean, he's still a great player. We will see. There's no way they should go Dillingham or Isaiah Collier. They do not need another point guard. But this is going to be fun. It has to be Matas Buzelis. I think. What do you guys think? I mean, they went Nikolai Topic or somebody like that. That's going to be crazy. And another trade will be definitely going down. I don't think he's the guy. Donovan Clingan, they could throw a wrench in everyone's plan if the Pistons were to take Donovan Clingan. And I mean, they would have a 1-2 punch in Clingan and Duren. It's possible. I want to be surprised just like you guys are. Yeah, Washington made some incredible moves today. So we will see. They are taking their sweet time. I love it, though. I love it. Make sure you're getting the right selection. Don't rush it. Well, I don't want to go on Twitter and get a spoiler for you guys. So I'm trying to, find out when you guys are. It's annoying waiting. And, they say it's 8 minutes between picks, 10 minutes between picks. That time goes so slow when you are waiting. But how do you feel about the draft so far? Did the Hawks make a mistake? Did the Wizards make a mistake? I don't think so. Taking Alex Sarr, that's a dream come true for the Wizards. I think Zachary Ricochet is a solid fit. Oh, and here we go. Wow, the Pistons select Ron Holland. So they went talent over shooting. They went talent over shooting. I like it. I like it. I like it. Telling you, he's my fifth ranked prospect in his class. So they got him. He has potential to be even better than that. If the shooting was there, he'd be a top 2, 3 pick. So let me tell you everything you need to know about Ron Holland. I'm very surprised they went Ron Holland. Just because of the shooting. Just because of the shooting. But like I said, my number 5 guy, but he shot 24% from three. That's one of the worst in the class. So, and you heard a lot of talk before the draft. Holland could be falling. He could be falling, but he has not. Um, that's crazy. But Ron Holland, 6'7", 205 from the G League Ignite, averaged 19 and a half points per game, 7 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block per game, shot 24% from three, 73% from the free throw line in 32 minutes per game, 18 years old. That is the key, 18 years old. So, and in the G League, that 3-point line is NBA ranked. In college, it's in closer. So those are two things that can give you some hope for development. In addition to everyone gets better when they go to the NBA with their shooting because they have shooting coaches that do this for a living. When you're in college, you're going to class, you're going, practice. Uh, in the dorm with friends. In basketball, your job is basketball. When you're in NBA, your job is basketball, and there's no class. It's basketball and rest time. So Ron Holland, super athlete, great handle, clearly a pro. When you watch him play, you just see he's a professional out there. Very fast when attacking the rim. He's not a ball stopper either. When you get guys like that, people used to call Melo a ball stopper. When he's getting the ball, you're not getting it back. But he does make his mind up quickly when he gets the ball, and that's a good thing. He could not be stopped in the G League. Obviously, he'll have to continue to work on his shot, but that will make him great when he gets it. He can hit it, but he's not at a good enough rate yet. I love what he does with his shot, though. He's very confident with it. He can finish in traffic with either hand, knows how to put some English on the tough shots. The only concern is he may not be able to score as easily in the NBA. He puts his head down and goes by guys in the G League to convert in the paint, but it won't be that easy in the NBA. So that's why the shot is so important. He definitely moves great for his size, very natural player, an elite dunker. He's not Kyrie, but he definitely has some fancy finishes in transition at the basket with the left and the right, like I said, with the finger rolls. He's tremendous in transition. Ron Holland can lead the break and take off after a loose ball or a steal. He sees the court well. Makes some great passes, almost works as hard on offense as he does on defense, and vice versa. But he has great hustle. He's an elite shot blocker for his size, great at contending shots as well. His leaping ability is second to none. He's very disciplined on defense as well, stands his ground, doesn't just jump at everything. And if you're not dribbling the ball the way you should, he will pick your pocket. He also deflects a lot of passes and converts them into points, steals, and blocks. With this guy, you can't ask for much more in the prospect than Ron Holland. So I think the Pistons still did get a steal with this selection because it could have been worse. They could have got a Reed Shepherd or Zachary Richardson. I think the guy they selected right now, of the guys been selected, they've gotten the second best player. Overall, my fifth best player. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Great selection. All right. The Hornets are on the clock right now. We will see which direction they go. I'm glad they cannot select Reed Shepherd. I'm a Hornets fan here in North Carolina. I'm biased. But, of course, they have LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, Mark Williams, Grant Williams. Rozier is gone. They got a first-round pick for him in the future. But this is going to be fun, y'all. Let's see who the Hornets select. Last year, they got Brandon Miller. Everyone thought it was the wrong choice. It turned out they were correct. What will happen this year? Six pick in the draft. Who do you think the Hornets will go with at 6? Yes, Tony. This is my team. I hope they go with Tyler Smith. I've heard there could be talks of them going with the young guy, um, Tijan Salon. I have him 20th, but I see the need for position. If they want to go for that upside, that's fine. Um, I would love Matas Buzelis hasn't been picked yet, right? Oh my God, they need to get Matas Buzelis or Tyler Smith for sure. Um, we will say. I forgot Matas Buzelis has not been. It would be a crime if they don't pick Matas Buzelis. I'm with you, Tony. Although they have a lot of needs, they need to do Washington as well. Yeah. Yep. Matas Buzelis should be the selection. We are waiting for a final word on the pick. As like I said, I'm not trying to get any spoilers for you guys. Show the ticker. Woo! I love it, y'all. This draft is fun. I think as far as consensus for the first 4 picks probably went as planned. The Pistons probably threw a wrench in people's plans because there was talk that Ron Holland could fall. He did not fall at all. He went in a good spot, probably higher than the consensus thought. For me, Ron Holland was my 5th ranked prospect. I'm very happy with him going to the Pistons. They're still going to have to address shooting big time, but the talent on the Pistons is going to be must-see TV with Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Ausar Thompson, Ron Holland, Jalen Duren. Woo! They have some ballers in Detroit. No shooting, but they have some ballers in Detroit. Who else do you think they should get? I'm hearing Matas Buzelis. Do you think anyone else would be a great option for the Hornets? Because I heard before the draft, Donovan Clingan, Reed Shepherd would be good selections. I think that would be very interesting if they went with Donovan Clingan. I wouldn't like that, but it is what it is. You know, everyone's talking about Tijan Salon as of today, that he could be the guy. Tijan Salon from France, 18 years old. He's the position they need. They need a 6'9", 6'10" player that can play the 3 or the 4. You know, that will determine also what they do with Miles Bridges. But Cody Williams, I would love for them to take Cody Williams as well. My choices would be, and I think that's who you're talking about, Tony. Cody Williams, Jalen Williams' brother, would be a great selection. He's similar body frame to Brandon Miller, but it's I think they have the 1, 2, the 3. It's locked down, the 5 locked down, the 4 position. There's a hole there from when PJ Washington left. I gotta ask you, Tony. Answer this question while we're waiting for the Hornets. Oh, well, the Hornets just selected. I'll get back to you, Tony. They did select Tijan Salon. I think that is very rich, but I like the size. Interesting. Mm. Hornet select Tijan Salon. All right, let me give you the breakdown on them. I was not expecting that. But, you know, that was a talk earlier today. They could take Tijan Salon. Tijan Salon is a 6'9" forward from France, and he's going to provide that length you want. So, you know, teams like OKC, Denver, they have that size on the court with a 7-footer, 6'10", 6'9", 6'7", and that's hard to go up against. Tijan Salon, 6'9", 200 pounds from France, a little bit slight frame, but average 9.5 points per game, 4 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal per game, 40% from the field, 33% from 3, 80% free throw. He only played 23 minutes per game. When most of these international players did not play big minutes overseas, especially when you're 18 years old. but we had to see the glimpses of what he could do, and there's a lot of projection going on with those guys. Other than normally the top guy like an Alex R, everyone else over international is a lot of projecting. Nikolai Topic got a lot of shine, but most of them are a lot of projection. Tejan Salon, a very aggressive forward with a great handle on his dribble, great form and shot, super high release on his shot. It's a little unorthodox, but NBA coaching could alter it or just improve it a little bit more. Like I said, 33% from three. That's solid, but it needs to get a little better. But at 18 years old, I'm not worried about that. It's kind of like a set shot, but it looks good when it goes in. But he has some nice athleticism, can get to the rack and moves great in transition, but he is still weak in the paint and needs some weight on him. He struggles backing down players and posting up. Very perimeter oriented unless he's cut into the basket. I love his height though. And he can provide a bigger front court for a team, similar to the Nuggets, like I said. And speaking of the Nuggets, he can provide that Michael Porter Jr. role with his shooting and the way he moves to get open. I compared him to Michael Porter Jr. on my player comparisons list on Twitter at William is Bill if you want to check that out. But he is a hard evaluation because he can be a Pat Baldwin Jr. or he can be a Michael Porter Jr. So, and Pat Baldwin Jr. can't get on the court in Washington, but he's moving up boards, and he, like I said, he was moved up today even more. They have moved him up to around 10 to the Jazz. Today he moves up to 6. Kind of crazy, but that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun for the Hornets. They got good size, solid shooting player. So let's see. Now the Blazers are on the clock. How do you guys feel about the Hornets taking Tejan Salon? Tony says that's a project, but he has a lot of upset. That is completely true. Completely true. Now we're gonna see what the Blazers do. The Blazers made a really nice trade earlier today. Got Denny Avia for not much at all. The 14th pick. And Malcolm Brogdon. That's the Wizards. They have their eyes on someone. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I think the Wizards have their eyes on Isaiah Collier because they still need a point guard. So I would be happy about that, but they better hope they get the guy they want because they traded Denny Avia for who's a solid player or a shot in the dark. So they have to have someone in mind. Otherwise, that was crazy. And the Trailblazers has made their selection. Donovan Clingan. What does this mean for my guy, DeAndre Ayton? What does this mean for DeAndre Ayton? Donovan Clingan from UConn. Let's get the breakdown. I'm getting these notifications the same time as y'all, so it's surprising me, just like it's surprising y'all, and that's how I like it. I don't want inside information. But Donovan Clingan, the 7'2" big man from UConn, 282 pounds. That's really big. Averaged 13 points, 7.5 boards, 0.5 assists, 0.5 steals, 2.5 blocks. Shot 64% from the field, 29% from three, 57% from the free throw line. That free throw shooting percentage is horrible. But the three-point percentage is not bad for a center that's 7'2". He's 20 years old, played 22 minutes per game. That's not great minutes for he should have been playing more than that. But he's a big body center, kind of in the traditional vein, a post player. In college, he gets pretty good position, but he's not very athletic, not very strong in the paint. This is Donovan Clingan we're talking about. Now, he's always in the right spot, constantly cutting to the rim and in good position for easy buckets, has soft touch in the paint, runs the floor with great effort, but he mainly is a victim of circumstance. By that, I mean, Donovan Clingan's points normally come because he's in the right spot. He's gifted a lot of baskets because of the height he has and being in the right spot. He is not talented enough to truly create his own shot yet. He doesn't have a special skill or talent on offense. It takes a while for him to score while backing down. He may also get a lot of 3-second calls in the NBA because he's in the paint a ton. Uh, or he just won't get a good position in the NBA. But he seems like a really good college center. And just because you're a good solid college center doesn't mean you're going to translate to an NBA center. Um, I think he should be in the G League for a while, but being selected seventh here, he's probably gonna. I mean, what are they gonna do with DeAndre Ayton? I have no clue. But he can shoot the three, good passer. Um, whew, could be. Yeah, like I said, it could be the system. He's always in the right position and passes an open man cutter when they're in the right spot. He gets his teammates easy buckets. He's a good rim protector, good shot blocker, but just kind of, yeah. Very similar to Ivica Zubac, who I compared him to on my Twitter as well at William is Bill. You can see that comparison. And Ivica went 32nd in the draft. So you're drafting an Ivica Zubac like player at 7. That's a little rich for my blood. But I truly think the Blazers would have went with Tijane Salon. I think they would have taken Tijane Salon if the Hornets would not have done that because that's the position they needed. You know, they have the 1 and 2. They could have went with the 3 as well. I think the 3. Well, they just got Denny Avdia. So yeah, the 4 position is all the Blazers needed. And Clingan is not a 4. Ayton is not a 4. They also have Duop Reith, who was played good center minutes for them. But for the 4, they had Jeremy Grant and no one else really. So that is very interesting. Yeah, I do think. Yeah, I mean that's a good point, Tony. There could be a trade. They could be drafting Klingon for someone else, but Klingon is so high thought of in this year's class. I don't see that happening, but it's possible. If I'm Portland and I can get Brandon Ingram, buy Klingon. That's what I would do. But if they're gonna stick with Klingon, it's no need to have DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton is already very interesting, complex personality as it is. And for you to bring in Klingon, he is not going to like that. I can expect DeAndre Ayton to be on the phone with the Blazers and his agent right now saying, "What the H are you doing? Get me out of here." And now the Spurs are back on the clock. Tony, who are y'all taking? Who do you want? Who do you want at number 8? It's an interesting verse. That's the best way to explain it. All right. The Spurs selected. If you missed it earlier, the Spurs selected Stephon Castle earlier. Who will they take at number 8? This draft is fun, y'all. It's so much fun. I'm loving it. Tony wants a wing. Maybe Matas Buzelis. Yeah, I think Matas Buzelis would be perfect for you guys. I think in my first mock, I had you taking Matas Buzelis at 4, and then Dillingham at 8. So you could be going in reverse role and going 4 with the guard and 8 with the forward. That would be a great selection. Or it's going to be, oh man, Tony, you keep reminding me that Matas Buzelis is out there. And we just selected Tijane Salon over him. I was okay with Tijane Salon until I just remembered Matas Buzelis is out there. What are these teams doing? Tony. Y'all might get Matas. That'll be nice for y'all. I'll be jealous. Now the feed I'm looking at is not telling me about trades or anything, but I just saw something on uh, Twitter that said from Jake Fisher, this could be false information, saying Charlotte is trading back from 6 to 9 with Memphis. So if you've heard of a trade, let me know. I have not heard that. So I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe that was false information. Mm, we're gonna see. We're going to see. This draft has been very fun. And I'm surprised that it has not been any trades because I haven't seen any. And you know what, Tony, I think that's what's making it more fun is that there is no consensus top pick. Not it's nothing is consistent with this draft. If you've seen my mock draft, my big board is completely different than everyone else's, and everyone else's is different in some sort of way. So that's you know, if you're on Twitter or ESPN too much, you kind of get an idea of where things are going. But I try to stay away from that, so I'll be surprised. So hopefully, you guys are being surprised as well. Um, let's see who the Spurs select. And Spurs are gonna be full of talent after this draft because they already had a lot of talent. They just could not win games. Because I'm very high on Devin Vassell. Keldon Johnson's a good player. Of course, you had Jeremy Sohan, Victor Wembanyama, even Trey Jones is a solid point guard. He should be a backup, but the Spurs have a lot of talent on their team. Maybe not a lot of depth, but they do have Blake Wesley and my other draft pick they had from a year ago, who was really good. And now they have selected Rob Dillingham. Ah, that's who I had in my first mock. The Spurs select Rob Dillingham at number 7. Okay, so you got your point. So this is going to be interesting with Stefan Castle. You're going to be playing shooting guard, buddy. uh, or they're just going to have to fight out for the point guard position. Um, oh, and Tony, for sure, there's going to be hitters in this class. I think this draft has a lot of talent, and a lot has not been selected yet, like Matas Pazelis, Tyler Smith, guys like that. Isaiah Collier. What are y'all doing? But yeah, let me get into the breakdown on Rob Dillingham. Very surprised they went with the guard after going with uh, Castle first. Oh, I can't wait to hear what Castle says about this. Because I'm just saying that because Stefan Castle said he was not working out with teams unless they were letting him be a point guard. So they just drafted a true point guard, buddy. So I don't know what's going on there. But number 8, the Spurs select Rob Dillingham, the 6'3" guard from Kentucky. 19 years old, averaged 15 points, 3 boards, 4 assists, 1 steal, no blocks per game, 47.5% from the field, 44.5% from 3, 80% from the free throw line, and only 23 minutes per game. Another player with low minutes in college. They play 40 minutes in college. I don't know why these guys are getting such low minutes, but Rob Dillingham has insane handles. It kind of dribbles like Stephon Marbury. That is a high compliment. That's like one of the highest compliments I can give you. But Rob is a great athlete with great hops. Yes, great hops at 6'3". Great three-point shooter. One of the best shooters in the class. Very fast with the ball in his hands and a quick decision maker. Rob Dillingham has a nice floater in the lane. Killer crossover. Can get anywhere he wants to on the court. Creates a ton of separation with his crossover, which allows him to pull up for the shot or get into the lane and score and make the perfect pass. His great shooting ability makes him even more deadly. Most point guards have the handle, but not the shot. I don't believe in the Kentucky guard myth necessarily, but with Rob Dillingham, I definitely can see him playing better in the NBA than he did in college. His game will fit perfectly, and he'll be a starter in the league right away or very soon. I like to see him get more assists, but he is essentially the perfect point guard for the up-tempo NBA game. Moves his feet extremely well on defense. He's a very pesky defender and gets steals easily as he plays the passing lane. A very fun point guard that needs to go to the right team, and he could be very good. So that's my breakdown on Rob Dillingham. Yeah, Tony. Two guards. What does that mean for Devin Vassell? What does that mean for Keldon Johnson? Um, yeah, Malachi Branham. That's the guy I was talking about. I was very high on Malachi Branham. He has not played as good for the Spurs as he did in college, but that shows a lack of faith in Blake and Malachi for sure. And now we have Memphis on the clock. Wow, guys. The talk before months ago was Memphis was going to trade up to try to get um, Donovan Clingan, and he's off the board. So they did not get him. But the Grizzlies have selected Zach Edey. And I heard that today that was a possibility. And they did it. The Grizzlies have selected Zach Edey. And I think this is the perfect team for Zach Edey to go to. He doesn't have to come in and be the number one starting center. He can play with Jaren Jackson or without Jaren Jackson. When Jaren Jackson's out there in certain lineups, he can be on the bench. When there's bigger teams that they're matching up against, he can start with Jaren Jackson. This is perfect for Memphis. They may not be confident in the player because there is a chance that he can't play big minutes in the NBA. But if Zach Edey works, he can be a dominant player. Oh, we have a trade, ladies and gentlemen. The Timberwolves traded a 2031 unprotected first round pick and a 2030 swap, top one protected, to the Spurs for Rob Dillingham. Wow. 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 Minnesota drops the hammer. I got to type this in the chat for you guys. A 2031 first rounder to the Spurs for Rob Dillingham. Wow. That is a shocker. There it is right there on the bottom of the screen. Great move, Minnesota. So there you go, Tony. You had two guards. Now you have one. I guess that's interesting. I thought the Timberwolves would want two players to help Wemby, but you do have a young team. You do have Vassell, Keldon, like I said, with all those guys in San Antonio. Wow, that trade is bananas. And I think that is an incredible trade for Minnesota, who's trying to win it right now. Okay, yes, I will repeat it. The Timberwolves have traded a 2031 first round pick for this year's pick with hold on. I lost it. Yeah, it was on the screen. But yes, you have traded Dillingham to Minnesota Timberwolves. That's insane. The news is breaking now. So let me find Shams on Twitter. Normally he pops up when I don't want him to pop up, and now I can't find him. All right. The Timberwolves have traded a 2031 unprotected first rounder and a 2030 swap, top one protected, to the Spurs for Rob Dillingham. So it's basically one first round pick because the other one is a swap. So are y'all with me? I don't want to be too confused with this. Timberwolves have traded a 2031 unprotected first rounder and a 2030 swap to the Spurs for Rob Dillingham. The 2030 swap is top one protected. Yeah, it's a pick and a swap, and the swap could not even be a swap. So, wow. I guess you guys, I don't know. That's weird. That helps Minnesota more than the Spurs. I don't know. I think the Spurs are thinking 2031 is 7 years from now. That's a long time. That is a long time. Okay, let's. That's crazy, guys. Now the Jazz are on the clock, and the draft has really picked up now. The Jazz have made a selection. They select one of my favorite prospects in this class, Cody Williams from Purdue. Really, really, really good selection by Utah going with Cody Williams. Let me give you the breakdown on Cody Williams. Wow, Cody Williams is my third ranked prospect, guys. So Utah gets a steal here. 6'8", 4 Colorado, 12 points, 3 boards, 1.5 assists, zero point 0.6 steals, 0.7 assists, 55% from the field, 41.5% from three, and 19 years old. He's a very long athlete, a little raw with his movements, but a good shooter, good ball handler. Look, he listed at 6'8", but he looks 6'10" out there. Can create his own shot. Has a little struggle going left, needs to tighten that up, but can get by his man and usually finish with the layup or the runner. Cody Williams seems like he's only been playing a few years. So he has the basic moves that can only get him so far. But when he's coached up and learns more moves to get him easier buckets, I think he's going to be really good. Takes a lot of tough contested shots in the paint. Um, Probably should pump fake or create space better in the paint, but he's a long, athletic player. And most of those guys cannot shoot anywhere near as good as Cody Williams. So he's already ahead of the curve, finished with a lot of layups and scoops and finishes going away from the basket. With more size and experience, he should be able to finish stronger. He can drive and pull up for the J, spot up for the three. I mean, Cody Williams really can do everything. He's everything you want in a prospect. He has the height, the youth, the shooting skill, the ability to create his own shot. He just needs to polish that all together, and you can have an all-star. I think he'll get better each year and become more dominant. And like I said, he'll be a star. He can be in that same vein as Brandon Miller, a 6'9" long forward with all the potential in the world. He moves his feet well, and his size will help him on defense tremendously, contesting and blocking shots. Very good defensive player and hustles on D. Gets steals, playing the passing lane with long arms, has a 7'1" wingspan. Cody Williams is a great selection for the Utah Jazz. Yes, the Jazz are going to be loaded. What do you guys think about Cody Williams to the Jazz? Yeah, it was going to be interesting what they're going to do with Keontae George. Let him stay the one or move him to the two. So it looks like he's going to continue to be able to play the one. And then they have Colin Sexton and guys like that at the two. Jordan Crawford. No, not Jordan Crawford. Jordan Clarkson. So now Cody Williams could slide in at that three spot. And I mean, it might have him at the two. You have Lauri Markkanen. You have John Collins. You have Walker Kessler. Good lineup for the Jazz. We are on pick 11 now. This is the Bulls are on the clock. Let me let you know the top remaining players left in the draft right now. Tyler Smith, Matas Buzelis, Khalil Ware, Terrence Shannon, Devin Carter, Carlton Carrington, Nikola Topic. Who will the Bulls select? This draft is crazy. I'm loving it, y'all. And the Bulls have made their selection. All right, the Bulls select Matas Buzelis. What a pick. The steal of the draft. Did not have to move up or anything. And I feel this is a big mistake by other teams. There was talk about his shooting could have been an issue. The shooting is not an issue at all with Matas Buzelis. He is a good shooter. Yes, he only shot 26% from three, but the numbers can lie. He's been a good shooter his whole life. He had a bad shooting season G League, but you got to look beyond the tape, beyond the numbers at times. He is a 6'10" forward, 210 pounds, average 14 points, 6.5 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks per game, 45% from the field, 26% from three, 70% free throw shooter, and he's 19 years old. There's no way he should have fell out of the top six. I do not understand. Makes no sense. But he can get out and run the floor extremely well, and that includes with the ball. He plays as a 6'8" forward, very versatile, big player, athletic, can create his own shot, very aggressive and strong in the paint, can attack bigs and yet still be finesse as well. Has a great handle and not just a big man handle. He can dribble like a guard, actually. Matas Buzelis has a quick first step that can get by his man with ease. He can shoot. So even though his 3-point percentage is bad, I can see that improving pretty easily in the NBA. Has some nice post moves. He's a good cutter. Gets to the open spot and is a good spot up shooter. Has a really nice handle. One of the best handles of a 6'10" guy I've ever seen. Very disciplined defender. Good shot blocker. He is big as in height, but his abnormal speed helps him stay with his man. So he has all the tools to be a good defender in the NBA, guard on the perimeter or in the paint, which is exceptional and rare. He may not be able to truly stop bigs in the NBA because he's only 210 pounds, but with the league trending to the Chet Wemby, Nick Claxton type of bigs, he most certainly can play the four and would probably be best suited to do that. And I think he will succeed, especially with the Bulls. And Tony. The Bulls did not get any picks for Caruso, but people have to remember Josh Giddey was a sixth pick in the draft. So I heard he was off. They were offered a 13th pick, a couple late round picks. Josh Giddey's future should be better than what anything else that he's been offered. You know, Josh Giddey's only 21, great size, and he actually should play really well with Matas Buzelis. And this is weird for me saying this because I was not a big fan of Josh Giddey at all in his draft class when he went six to the Thunder. I had him projected 24, and you know his deficiencies showed in the playoffs as to why I thought he should not have been a top lottery player. But now it's getting to the point where he's getting underrated, and Josh Giddey can be a starting point guard for a team that would be very helpful. He can easily get 16, 6 boards, and 8 or 9 assists. Like the stats are going to be crazy for Josh Giddey if he's left alone at point guard for the Bulls. And getting Matas Buzelis is an excellent selection for them. And they're going to be fun. You know, they're going to have a tall lineup. I don't know what's going to happen with Cody Williams. I don't know what's going to happen with Ayo Dosunmu. Lonzo Ball's there. But if Josh Giddey gets a lot of time, he's gonna be successful with the Bulls. Um, but yeah, the shooting, the deficiencies are still gonna be the shooting and defense is still gonna be a problem. But I think people overrate Caruso a little bit. He was no help to the Bulls. So for them to get Giddey, I think that was a fair trade. Um, Sometimes picks seem great, but there's a lot of teams that get a lot of picks and they do nothing with them. Um, Late, especially picks in the 20th and on. If it's not a top 6 or 7 pick, it's not a sure thing at all. So uh, even those aren't most of the time. But you've seen Josh Giddey be productive in the NBA. You've seen his warts. The Bulls knew what they were getting when they traded for him. I think it was a good selection. Caruso, I mean, let me look. How old is Alex Caruso? He's at least 30, right? I gotta look this up. He's 30. Okay, he's 30. Okay, so he's not as old as I thought. Like he still got 3 or 4, maybe 3 more years of elite defense in him. But Josh Giddey's 21, so he gets his defense up, you got 10 years potentially right there. So we'll see. We'll see. The Bulls do need some hits, and I think they got one with Matas Buzelis. Good selection there. Let's see if anything is happening on Twitter. Nothing as of yet. No news. So, but right now we're waiting for the 12th selection in the draft. There's not been a lot of trades. So it's been a little surprising to me that there's not been a ton of trades. The shocking move of the night was the Minnesota Timberwolves trading up to 7 to get Rob Dillingham. That's an insane trade. And I don't think they gave up too much. You know, you think about the huge trade yesterday or today, everything's happening so fast. Mikal Bridges was traded to the Knicks for 5 first-round picks. So to see how you get the 7th pick for 1 first-round pick, I like that move better than trading for 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is really good, but that was a bit of a desperate move for the Knicks, for a position they didn't even need. Mikal Bridges is not elite player. So that was a lot. That was a lot. People kill teams for trading 3 first-round picks for Donovan Mitchell and DeJounte Murray, and it might have been 4 first-round picks for Rudy Gobert. But Mikal Bridges, it's a nice story. He's in there with his Villanova guys, but I think they're gonna have a little bit too many cooks in the kitchen. You can't play all those guys. Josh Hart goes back to the bench. So we will see what happens. Now we're talking about the Thunder, who are on the clock right now. Who will they go with? There's some very talented players still out there. Will they go with the big? Yves Missi, Khalil Ware. They made the selection and they have selected Nikolai Topic. Wow. Wow, that's a shocker. I've heard talks that they could have went with a point guard after selecting Josh Giddey. And they did it. I mean, you know, after trading Josh Giddey, they did that. But they brought in a guard at Alex Caruso. So once again, they're loaded again at the guard position and very deficient at the big position. So the Thunder are not worried. They have a plan, I suppose. And we know Nikolai Topic is hurt right now with an injury to his knee. MCL is not torn all the way, but it's partially torn. So he probably will miss maybe the first half of the season. And that's fine for the Thunder. They were the number 1 seed without him. They're going to have Caruso. But what are they doing with all these guards? This is what I said when they drafted Josh Giddey. Why are they going to draft Josh Giddey? They have a bunch of guards, and they drafted Trey Mann. And like they love small guards, big guards, any type of guard. Get it to them. But I truly think they probably should have looked at a big here, you know, or a power forward here. But they have a plan. But sometimes you can outthink yourself. What do you guys think about that selection, Nikolai Topic at 12 to the Thunder? What was the point? I think the Thunder are gonna think they made an upgrade from Josh Giddey, and they still get Caruso. So they basically got Caruso for free and a better version of Josh Giddey. So I mean, the team will be better, but the overflow of guards, like I said with the Knicks earlier, somebody's gonna be on the bench for the Thunder. Somebody's gonna be on the bench. That's kind of crazy. It's an embarrassment of riches at guard for the Thunder. They are going strictly for best player available. They don't care nothing about your positional needs. They said we're going for the best player on the board, and I love it. I mean, if they love it, I love it. I wouldn't have did that, but and right now the Kings are on the clock. I need to let you guys know the best remaining players on the board. Now, I will say Kel'el Ware, Tyler Smith, um, Terrence Shannon, Tristan Da Silva, Eves Missy, Devin Carter, Carlton Carrington, Dalton Connect. Dalton Connect is having a bit of a fall. So I'm sure the Kings would be happy to have him. He would be a good fit for them, actually. So who do you guys think the Kings should select? They have De'Aaron Fox, they have Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter, Harrison Barnes, um, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis. They're kind of weak at the center position because Sabonis can be a 4 or a 5. But who's the backup 5? Kind of weak at the 2. I like Malik Monk. Is he a starting 2 or is he a 6-man? Kevin Huerter, it's not good enough to start for the Kings. Harrison Barnes getting long in the tooth. It's probably time for him to be moving on out. So we will see. Tony thinks the Spurs are following the Thunder are following the Spurs, history, their line of thinking. But the Spurs had Tim Duncan. The Thunder at one point they had Tim Duncan and David Robinson. I would like for the Thunder to get a David Robinson. That's not easily said, but when David Robinson was gone, I guess it was just Timmy there as the only big. But they brought in other bigs. I remember Tiago Splitter and guys like that. Who is the backup big for the Thunder? Get a big OKC. Use one of those picks and trade up and get a Kel'el Ware. Then I'll be happy with your team. I don't know if you need Eves Missy. He's not really a scoring big, but get a Deron Holmes. It's possible that he can come in and contribute, but Kel'el Ware is gonna make somebody really happy. I'm telling you, he is a really talented player that should have been selected by now. The consensus is high on Dalton Connect. I'm not as far as being this pick this early, but it seems like a solid range for him. I have Dalton Connect 21st, 22nd. He's still a talented player though. So, and today or yesterday, De'Aaron Fox was able to sign his extension, and he said, "I want to wait and see what the Kings are going to do. I need to make sure I'm signing up a long-term agreement with the right team." He said, "I'm not sure right now. Y'all got to prove it to me." So, are they going to take a point guard? They could take a point guard and say, "Okay, you not sure? Well, we'll get your replacement in here early." We will see. This has been fun, guys. This has been fun. The Kings are on the clock. Let's see what's going on Twitter. OKC pulled an OKC. I cannot believe that. And it's been reported the Kings have significant trade talks around this selection. So we will see. Then they made the selection. But like we saw with the Spurs taking Dillingham, that doesn't mean it's over. The Spurs have made the selection. They have selected Devin Carter from Providence. Let me write this in for you. Devin Carter. And like I said, y'all, Is this a replacement for De'Aaron Fox? You better watch what you say out there. They're like, we can pay De'Aaron Fox $50 million, or we can go ahead and draft your replacement, buddy. I think it's a little too soon to say that. But Devin Carter, the 6'3 guard from Providence, averaged 20 points, 9 boards, 3.5 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block per game. 47% from the field, 38% from 3, and 21 years old. So that is why he's not in the top 10, solely because he's 21 years old, and maybe the fact that he's 6'3. If he was 6'4 and 19, he would have been in the top 8. I can tell you that for sure. But Devin Carter, crafty, intelligent scorer, really good 3-point shooter, shoots a lot of tough shots. Some would even call them bad shots, but he's a tough shot maker. I just like to see that decrease a little bit. He's not really flashy. He just gets to his spots, runs the offense, and gets to the paint. Has super long range, plays under control, but also can turn the speed on and fly by all of his defenders. Has a lot of wild finishes in the paint, mainly because I think he's trying to draw contact to get the foul. But Devin Carter is a very confident player, surprises you with his athleticism. But as a point guard, I mean, he can catch lobs. He can rise up on fast breaks. When playing in the half court, he normally is finishing with layups. I like that he can dribble and cross over as much as he wants, but he doesn't really rely on it. He's a good passer, can play the traditional point guard role, which is good because he was the main scoring option in college, but that most likely won't be the case in the NBA. So playmaking will be essential for minutes, for him to get minutes in the NBA. He does look for the open man. He can play a little in the post. And at almost 200 pounds, he weighs the same as Zachary Ricochet, if you think about that. And Zachary Ricochet is like 6 inches bigger than him. Carter is a really good shot blocker for his size. That normally translates. And he's great at causing deflections and playing passing lanes for steals. He has tremendous anticipation for where the ball is going to be. He normally breaks up plays. He's bigger. He's a bigger, better version of Jose Alvarado, in my opinion. So that's 3 inches taller than Jose, 20 pounds heavier than Jose, and he's much better offensively. So we know how important Jose Alvarado is to the Pelicans. I truly think Devin Carter is going to be really important to an NBA team with the Kings, and he won't be used as a gimmick player. No disrespect to Jose Alvarado, but Devin Carter can do a lot more than Jose Alvarado. So when you hear that, you think, is that an insult? He's Jose Alvarado. I don't want that. No, he's way better than Jose Alvarado. But if you look at Jose Alvarado in college, he was a floor general, defensive presence with steals and blocks and ran the team. That's what Devin Carter did at Providence. And I think he can do that in the NBA at a starting level and even more because he would continue to get better. How do you guys feel about that for the Kings? Kings fans? Is that a solid pick? Solid pick. I don't know if he was going to get minutes. I mean, they drafted a guy last year. I believe it was Armani Bailey. I'll find that name for you in a little while. But he was a solid second round pick point guard. So that must mean they're not confident in him. Let me look at the Kings depth chart for you guys. How you guys feeling about the draft so far? Is it fun? Is it interesting? Is it boring? Because there's been a lot of talk that this draft is not good. So I'm bored by it. It's not going to be interesting. Nobody's going to be watching. How do you guys feel about it so far? I think it's been pretty good. Kobe Jones, that's who they drafted. I think I was talking about the Hornets backup point guard, but they drafted Kobe Jones last year, and he's a really good backup point guard. He has not really gotten the opportunity to play for the Kings, and now I definitely don't think he's going to get that, even though he's signed to a 4-year contract. So that's interesting. What does this mean for Davion Mitchell? It's not good. Davion Mitchell did not play much last year. They used Keon Ellis a lot. So the Kings are very interesting. And up next, we have the Portland Trailblazers, but this is the trade that just happened with the Wizards, and the Wizards have made their selection. What a selection! They selected Carlton Carrington. Wow, nice. I would have preferred Isaiah Collier here, but I'm very high on Carlton Carrington as well. It's funny though. I had Devin Carter ranked 13. He went 13. I had Carlton Carrington ranked 14. He went 14. And at 12, Nikola Topic went 12. I have him ranked 15. So we're right in the line with my guys that I have ranked. But Carlton Carrington is a 6'5" guard from Pittsburgh. Averaged 14 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, point 0.6 steals. Shot 41% from the field, 32% from three, 78% from the free throw line, and 33 minutes per game. And he's only 18 years old. So that's what you want to see, that 18 years old. That is really helpful. And when you see the promise in someone that young, you know when they get older, look out. We've been streaming for an hour and 12 minutes here. It's been a lot of fun with you guys. I think I got to 2 hours and they're going to kick me off of here, but we'll be in the 20s at that point. So the draft is moving along pretty well. But Carlton Carrington, really good shooting guard, has pro moves already at 18. He loves a fall away, fade away, mid range jumper. Takes his time and breaks down the defense. Has a great pull up jumper. Most of his highlights are fadeaways. He has a nice handle. Very smooth player offensively. The talent is there. He just needs better shot selection. Carlton Carrington, all of his shots are contested. He's very comfortable with them, but he needs to create more space and be coached to be able to get more space in the NBA, and he'll be even better. You know, those pros, the veterans, and coaches, they should be able to give him tricks of the trade that will take his talent to just scoring over people and above and around people to tricks of the trade where he can get by people and create space to get easier shots. That will happen. You know, when you get to these veterans and retired players, like you think of, they just got my guy Malcolm Brogdon. They just got him in the trade with this selection, so that's a guy that can help him learn tricks of the trade. But being 18, Carlton Carrington's future is very promising. If he goes to the right team, he can be very, very good. Has a great handle. He literally just needs to play a little less one-on-one and don't be a ball stopper because he clearly feels he can cook anybody out there on the floor. Very confident player, but his game can be even better coached up. I'm a fan. Just needs to stop taking the long twos. And if you follow me on Twitter at William Isbill, Cody Williams Carlton Carrington, Bub Carrington reminds me of Joe Johnson. If you remember him from the Hawks back in the day, excellent, smooth shooting guard. That's what Carlton Carrington reminded me of. Now, there's talk that he wants to be a point guard. He played a little point guard at Pittsburgh. I don't see it. I think I see him as a really smooth shooting guard, but it's possible. But I think the Wizards could have went with Isaiah Collier there. That would have secured that for sure. Now we have the Heat on the clock. Heat could use a point guard as well, or a center. There was talk they were interested in Zach Edey. We will see. Let's go to the best players available left. All right, Tyler Smith, Khalil Ware, Terrence Shannon, Tristan Da Silva, Dalton Connect. Still has not been selected. They have Jaime Jaquez, so I don't think they'll go that route. Yves Misty. All right. Brian Dunn. So there's still a lot of good players out there for Miami to select. This draft has been so much fun, guys. Like I said, an hour 15 in. How do you feel about the draft? Let's hear it. If your team has not selected yet, who do you want your team to select? Hawks fan, how do you feel about taking Zachary Richardson? If you hear from me, you're not gonna like the pick, but no, it's fine. He's just like a Grady Dick 2.0. But Bull should have had the ninth pick anyway, so it's fine. Spurs fans, how do you feel? Traded the second pick you guys had at 8 for a pick in 2031. I mean, if I'm the Spurs, I'm getting something else back from that. I'm getting a player, a young player from Minnesota or something, something, y'all. I mean, imagine if they could have got the rookie they selected last year in the second round. I can't even think of his name right now. Let me Leonard Miller. Yes, Leonard Miller. I mean, yeah, I would have did that. But I mean, the Spurs are thinking the future, so it's all good. But 2031, whew. You know, a lot of people were talking about the Lakers trading picks in 2029 and laughing at them about that. They didn't really get anything useful for that when they did that. They got Torian Prince and stuff. If you know you can get the 7th pick in the draft, these picks in the future are more valuable than we thought. Who do you guys think the Heat should select at 15? And once again, it's not been a ton of trades. Let's see what's going on the Twitter front. I know Bam signed an extension today, $200 million extension, so that's good. And you know, one of the biggest things that the media is trying to get everyone to talk about is Bronny James. You know, he's not been brought up on this podcast, on this show yet at all. There's nothing to say. I don't think he should be drafted. I think if he's drafted, it's going to be on name value. How do you guys feel about that? We will see. I mean, you got to roll with your squad. Yeah, Tony's feeling good about the Spurs. I'm sure you would have liked to see who you guys would have taken at 8, but like you said, you got to have confidence in your team. Uh, oh, I think we got a good selection here. I don't want to spoil it for you because it's not official yet. I don't know where y'all are looking if it's official yet, but gotta make sure it's okay. It's official. The Heat select Kel'el Ware. Woo! And there was a lot of talk that Kel'el Ware, people were worried about his motor. That's BS to me. It's just trying to put labels on guys, and you know, I think it's just draft talk. Kel'el Ware is a really good center. He was my. Let me make sure. He might have been my number 1 center in this class. Hold on, let me check. Yeah, if Tyler Smith is a power forward, Kel'el Ware is my number 1 center in this draft, and there he just got him at 15. Excellent selection. Let me give you the breakdown on Kel'el Ware. My 8th ranked player going at 15. That's what we like to see. The Heat, you know, I knew the Heat would make a great selection at 8 because the way this draft is set up, there were going to be a lot of teams taking role players and average players. Although it's been going pretty well so far. The Heat, Kel'el Ware fell in their lap. 7 foot, 225 pounds from Indiana, 16 points, 10 boards, 1.5 assists, 0.6 steals, 2 blocks per game from Indiana. 58% from the field, 42% from 3. He did not shoot that many, but still 42% from 3 is excellent. 32 minutes per game, 63% from the free throw line, 19 years old. Now, Kel'el Ware, very impressive big man, very athletic, probably the best hops of any center in this draft class. I mean, he jumps out of the gym. And I don't just mean dunking the ball. I mean blocking the ball. He's jumping like he's trying to touch the backboard on block shots, which is a little scary because every time he's jumping blocking shots, I'm like, please don't land on anyone's foot. But very athletic, has a nice touch, great height, great length, can even shoot the three. Many bigs that play like him cannot shoot, so that's a huge plus. He provides everything you want in a modern day big. He's a bit skinny at 225. I think he was a little bigger than that at the combine, but he has crazy length, making him a lob threat from all over the place. Runs the floor well, a rim runner, but not just a rim runner because he can shoot it as well. That shooting ceiling is very high. He averaged a double double in college with 2 blocks. Not many people average a double double in college. Zach Edey was one of the other ones, but his only weakness is strength in the paint. And he's in Miami now. Miami is the number 1 place for conditioning. So if anyone's worried about a motor, he went to Miami. Pat Riley will be on his ass. So I don't think it's an issue, but it's even less than it's a zero negative 100 negative 100 issue now that he's in Miami with Pat Riley. He won't see the floor, or he's gonna be the most conditioned player in this draft class. So the strength in the paint will come. At times he can get as deep as he wants in the paint and finish as well as he needs to, but sometimes he settles for shots, shying away from contact, or fading away, going up weak. But a lot of bigs do that in this class. He's 19. He'll only get stronger. I have zero worries about Khalil Ware's game, especially the way the NBA is going right now. His wingspan is ridiculous. Does an excellent job at protecting the rim. And like I said, he can block it or he can punch it into the stands. He's definitely altering shots or making players just not shoot it at all. Sometimes he chases blocks a bit much. Like I said, he loves jumping for dunks and blocks. So long as he gets coached up and he's on the perfect team to get coached up, Khalil Ware is in a tremendous landing spot. How do you feel about that pick from Miami, Khalil Ware? Excellent, excellent, excellent selection, in my opinion. I wish they would have got a point guard. I guess they're going to roll with Terry Rozier to continue being the point guard. We'll see what happens next. The Sixers are on the clock here. There's been a lot of talk the Sixers will not be taking this pick. They'll be trying to trade it, but we will see. And then after the Sixers, we have the Lakers. So very highly anticipated selection there. Let's see if there's any news on Twitter. There's a lot of talk that everyone's surprised there haven't been more trades. Me too. And I'm just writing on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at William is Bill. If you're worried about motor, worry no more with Khalil Ware in Miami. And it looks like the Sixers are going to go ahead and make the pick. What do the Sixers need, in your opinion? They have Tyrese Maxey. They have Embiid. They have Batum. They have Tobias, at least for now. Great question by Tony. Do I think Bam moves to the 4? I don't think Khalil Ware is, considering he's a 15th pick, he's not important enough to move anyone. Say if he was a top 5 pick, maybe. But I think the Heat will be fine with him being a backup at 15. Most of us as fans will see a first round pick. Oh, they're coming in and starting. It's not a sure thing that Khalil Ware is going to start at all. I think he's going to have to earn it. In Miami, especially, he's going to have to earn it. So if Bam wants to play the 4, this is going to be Bam's position. Bam's not being moved unless he wants to be moved. He is the franchise. He is the franchise's most important player over Jimmy Butler, because Jimmy Butler could be out of the door, and Jimmy Butler's 35 years old. So it's Bam's team. If Bam wants to play the 4, then that could be why they selected Khalil Ware. If he wants to play the 5, Khalil Ware is gonna be his backup. That's just simple as that. I don't see Khalil Ware as a 4. He possibly could because he can shoot it pretty well. But Miami's a playoff team. When you get to these playoff teams, they don't really care about rookies that much. So I would expect him to be more of a backup. But I think he's talented enough to eventually share the court with Bam. But when you get in this range, you think of last year, Jed Howard, he barely played at all. He was the 11th pick in the draft. He barely played at all. There's a lot of guys that didn't. Jalen Hood-Schifino, 17th, 16th pick last year, barely played at all for the Lakers. So these players here, it's all about landing spot and what the team has in mind for them. And we will see. I'll tell you one thing, Matas Buzelis is playing for the Bulls. I'll tell you that. Because it's a bad team. It's harder when you have a really good rookie going to a good team, a franchise with a plan. But they did make the pick. They didn't trade it. They clearly see something in Khalil Ware. They could have went with a point guard. They did not. So we'll see. We got about 34 minutes left on this stream until it cuts me off. But I'll come back. I'll cut it back on. I'll be back, guys. So it doesn't look like we're gonna finish the draft. So we might not even get to pick 20, but I gotta finish it for you guys. This has been a lot of fun. I appreciate all your comments, your feedback. It's keeping me going. Let's look and see if there's any Twitter news going on. I got a question on Twitter. It said, "How do you feel about the Risache pick?" I'm writing in response to Mikey saying he's a good fit, but he was my 9th ranked player. He would be solid for them, but seems like they could have gotten more. Appreciate the question, Mikey. All right, now there has been a selection. The Sixers have selected Jared McCain from Duke. Now, I'm guessing he's just going to back up Tyrese Maxey. So this is a talk we were just talking about with the Heat. Just because they selected Khalil Ware doesn't mean he's going to start. So same thing with Jared McCain. He's definitely not going to start over Tyrese Maxey and not going to move Tyrese Maxey unless Maxey wants to be moved. I don't know. I don't really see this as a good draft selection, guys. Do you guys like this pick? I had Jared McCain like 29th. I just moved him up to 26th. But 6'3" point guard from Duke, 14 points per game, 5 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal, 46.5% from the field, 41.5% from 3. That's great. 20 years old. He's a good player, but quick first step allows him to beat his defender off the dribble. If stopped, he can hit the step back 3 or the jumper. Excellent 3-point shooter. Usually driving to the right for a layup or get into the 3-point line to shoot it. He's a solid point guard. Seems like he'll be a backup, which he went to the Sixers. Good hustle player on defense. Smooth driver to the rack. Will pull up from 3 from anywhere at any time. Uses his body to score and create space. Has a nice floater. But he's not a game changer. He's a solid point guard. And what size did I say? Did I say he was 6'3"? 6'3". I don't know why they felt they had to do that here. It seems like they could have got something better. What do y'all think about that thing? I don't know about that one, y'all. Okay, let me tell you who they had on the board. And like Dalton Connect is still out there. I like I said, I'm not super high on Dalton Connect, but I had him over Jared McCain. Tristan Da Silva still out there. Terrence Shannon, Tyler Smith. Mm. Ryan Dunn would have been lockdown defender for them. Interesting. They could have went with a backup for Embiid. They need a backup for Embiid more than they need a backup point guard. Um, a lot of centers left in this draft class. Oh man, Heat fans, how you feeling? And like I said, I got that question from Mikey on Twitter. How I feel about the Risha Shea pick? How do you feel about the Risha Shea pick, guys out here? Shout out to Mikey Kabrinsky from the Hawks. Yeah, that's my guy from Ethos Hawks, Mikey. He said he had Risha Shea ranked 6. Hawks need a 3 and D guy like him, but it just seems like his 4 won't lift them as much as they need with the current roster shape, in my opinion. I'm telling him, keep the faith. I love his size, but I know you will be rooting for Sar to fail. This draft is so much fun, guys, and you guys make it more fun with your feedback and being here with me during it. Like I said, the Lakers on the clock. Hey man, if the Lakers select Bronny James, just throw the whole draft away. Oh man, this could be fun. This could be fun. You gotta have fun with it, guys, and this is a fun draft. Who do you think the Lakers should pick? The Lakers have D. Loden at the point. You know, they have Austin Reeves at the 2, LeBron at the 3, Anthony Davis at the 4. They have Christian Wood. They have Jackson Hayes. They have Torian Prince. They always want shooting. I had them mock to select Dalton Connect here at 17. In my mock draft 1.0. You can look on my Twitter and see it right now, or look on my YouTube feed and see it right now. I had the Lakers mock to select Dalton Connect. Will they go with Dalton Connect? Will they go with Tyler Smith? Tristan Da Silva, excellent 3-point shooter. I'm gonna start marking some guys off of my list, so I won't name them, and they already been drafted. Looks like I nailed this one. The pick is not official yet, so I won't say it, but looks like the pick is in. And the pick is in, and the Lakers have selected Dalton Connect. Excuse me. It's so funny they select him. I called this one, y'all. I said he's not exactly Jaime Jaquez at all, really. Jaime Jaquez is better, but like even in college, he was better. And I was low on Jaime Jaquez, but he is better than Jaime Jaquez is better than Dalton Connect. But I said the Lakers passed on Jaime Jaquez last year. He's a 4-year player, and they went with the young guy and Jalen Hood-Schifino. I said they will not do that again this year if Dalton Connect on his board, and that's what happened. That's what happened. So let me give you the breakdown on Dalton Connect. And it's so funny. The Heat went with Khalil Ware, and the Lakers got Dalton Connect. So Dalton Connect is 6'6", 215, 22 years old. That's the kicker. That's why he's not drafted higher. 22 points per game, 5 boards, 2 assists, 0.7 assists, 0.6 steals, 46% from the field, 40 minutes from 3, 40% from 3. Then that's excellent. But let me start with this. He has a great name, Connect. So he's going to be a lot of connected from the field, but he's good at everything. He's just not a special player. He can get his own shot, get by his man. Although he's not fast, he's crafty. but he's 6'6". You know, we talked about Cody Williams and Zachary Richardson at 6'9". He's 6'6". So is he gonna be a 2 or 3? And they already have Austin Rivers. So that's how's your defense gonna work with Austin Rivers, Austin Reeves, and Dr. Connect? Gonna be interesting. But Connect is a really good shooter from deep and all over the court, really. Gets good elevation on his shot to rise up over his opponent. Perfect college player. I just worry about it translating. He doesn't create much space. So that could be even harder in the NBA. So, you know, when you see that I'm down on a lot of people that the consensus is higher on, it's not just to do it for no reason or to do it because um, a stereotype or whatever. It's literally because of their game. He does not create much space. That is a problem. And he's the number one guy in Tennessee. He's not going to be the number one guy in the NBA. How are you going to play? How's that going to work? Are you going to be reserved to just being a spot up shooter? And with the Lakers, you're not. It's LeBron. It's D'Angelo Russell. It's Anthony Davis. You're not going to be the same Dr. Connect at Tennessee that you will be with the Lakers at all. If you even get on the court more than 10 minutes per game. So that's why these players are lower on my consensus than they are on everyone else's. But if he pans out, he is very similar to Chris Middleton. Like Chris Middleton now, 35-year-old Chris Middleton, who's still really good. So that's my comparison, but he easily could be, you know, Corey Kispert was an excellent forward in college, could do all the things Dr. Connect can do. But we see what he is with the Wizards. He's a solid player. So and they Tony says they got JJ Redick, so why not? It must be a JJ Redick guy. So I mean, I'm sure they use his input on this selection. And if you're going by consensus, he was the best player on the board. For me, he's not the best player on the board, but he was in the range of being drafted to where it makes sense. So I'm not mad at it. But I still think the league will regret passing on Tyler Smith, Tristan Da Silva, Terrence Shannon. Those guys need to be off the board immediately. All right, we have a selection. And this is interesting. This is the Magic. The Magic are on the clock and they have made their selection. The Magic have selected Tristan Da Silva. And he was one of the guys that I said should be selected. I don't know if this is the right choice for the Magic. They drafted Jett Howard last year. Excellent three-point shooter. So it's gonna be interesting. I think they needed a backup point guard or a starting point guard. More important than anything else. I think it's gonna be hard for Tristan Da Silva to get minutes on the Magic. What does this mean for Jett Howard? That doesn't seem good. Or Jett Howard will play this year and Tristan Da Silva will not. But woo, Tristan Da Silva is 6'9" though. And Jett is 6'7", I believe, or 6'8". But Tristan Da Silva, 6'9" from Colorado, 16 points per game, 5 boards, 2.5 assists, 1 steal, 0.6 blocks, 49% from the field, 40% from 3, and 34 minutes per game. 22 years old. Another reason why he fell. Excellent three-point shooter. You can easily say the Lakers should have selected him over Dalton Connect because you're getting that same shooting with 3 inches taller in height. And they're the same age. So it's kind of interesting. But he handles the ball very well for his size. Being 6'9", he's one of the best shooters in the class. And that's an excellent quality. He dribbles like a guard. He's one of those guys that can play right away. And a guy every team wants. He's a great three-point shooter that can play his role. The question is, can he be more? Or will he be a Nick Batum-like? Which is still necessary. You know, he's a pro. Everything is pretty, smooth, and easy. I love how Tristan can drive to the left or right and finish with his left hand in the paint. I mean, he's a pretty perfect prospect, honestly. Great form. He could be Keegan Murray for a team. He literally can do everything on offense end of the court. Being 22, he's very experienced. Makes crafty moves and plays to score to get open. Has long arms. Great recovery on defense. If he gets beat off the dribble, he can also stay with some guards on the perimeter. Very alert on defense and gets a lot of steals while breaking up passes, which he doesn't have to do, but he does. But Keegan is a faster, more aggressive, and better scorer. Um, not is a more. He just is more. But yeah, Batum has been a max contract guy in his career and played in the league for about 14 years. So if Tristan Da Silva can go that route, that's going to be excellent for the Magic. It's just I just hate it for Jett Howard. I hope it doesn't mean uh, bad news for Jett Howard, really. You know, they have Franz, they have Paolo. There's not much room for Tristan Da Silva to get minutes. So he's definitely not coming in and starting. Just how soon will he come off the bench? But the last 3 years, they've drafted 3-point shooters for sure. We'll see if they get to use them. But I think their number one issue is point guard. Markel Fultz and Jalen Suggs are pieces. But if you get a solid, locked-in starting point guard, the Magic would be scary. They don't have that. They don't have a threat at point guard. So that's what they want to do. That's what it is. The Raptors are on the clock. Fun. Who should the Raptors go with? I had them mock taking Zach Edey. Obviously, they did not want to hear that because Edey's gone. I'm just marking guys off my list that have been drafted already so I can let you know the top players left. And I cannot believe this, y'all. The Magic could have drafted Isaiah Collier. This is BS. I forgot Isaiah Collier had not been selected yet. That's crazy, y'all. Who is your top player left on the board that has not been selected? I want to know. I'm going to let you know mine. Isaiah Collier, Tyler Smith, Terrence Shannon, Eves Missy, Trey Alexander, Ryan Dunn. Where are they at? Where they at? What position do you think the Raptors need? You know, they have Scotty Barnes. Just sign him to a big contract. They have Emmanuel Quickly, Gary Trent, RJ Barrett, Jakob Pertl. There's been talk about the center position. You know, they have Grady Dick. He should move into the starting lineup, I would think, at some point. He was drafted 13th last year, and he hasn't done anything to not get minutes. And big task at hand just said, but the New York Knicks. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Y'all doing a lot of big things this year. And you still have your 24th and 25th pick in this year's draft. So I know you're happy about that. I don't know if you're gonna keep both of those picks. If I'm the Knicks, I'm trading one of those picks for a pick in one of those years you gave up a selection. So that's what I would do. And we're still waiting for the Raptors. But yeah, man, how do you guys feel about your team? Has your team selected yet? The Raptors are making a really uh, concentrated selection. They are going to the wire on this selection. They don't want to mess up. Okay. Oh, if this is who I think it is, this is a very interesting selection, y'all. When you're on Twitter, you see some names a little earlier. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. The selection was so crazy, it almost made me lose everything. So, but I'm back. But the Raptors have selected Jacoby Walter. Thanks for sticking with me. When you're on a laptop, you just move over and boom, it just exits out the chat. Like, come on now. But Jacoby Walter, I just moved him down to my 30th talented player on the big board, 30th ranked player on the big board. 6'5" from Baylor, 14 and a half points, 4.5 boards, 1.4 assists, 1 steal per game, 34% from three, uh, 32 minutes per game, 19 years old. Good 3-point shooter, good ball handler, a little too fancy and loose at times with the ball. Tries to be too pretty with the ball at times. Takes a lot of heat checks and bad shots, but he was impressive for a freshman. He just needs some good NBA coaching. He can get to his spot, hit the pull-up J, has long range, knows how to get contact when driving or going up in traffic, has a very quick jab step to shake his defender to create space or shoot and drive. I think he'll be in the G League all season, honestly, from what I saw in college. But he does a lot that won't translate easily in the NBA as well. But he has great hands and a knack for getting steals. Um, Good at playing man to man or as a help defensive player. But very similar to Josh Christopher, like pretty identical to Josh Christopher, who did not work out. Hoping Josh Christopher does work out, but um, did Isaiah Collier have issues in the combine? Wonder why he dropped. That is a good question, Tony. He originally was ranked as the number one prospect coming into the 2023 class and was mocked to be the first pick in the draft. Throughout the season, he had some injuries, had some inconsistencies, and when the season was over, he was ranked 11th by ESPN. Then, as the draft got closer and closer, he's been moved to like 21 by ESPN. I have no clue. He's still the number one prospect in my opinion. I don't care if he goes 21 or whatever. But look out for Isaiah Collier. But as far as the Raptors selecting Jacoby Walter, you could say they needed a shooting guard. I guess Grady Dick. I don't know what this means for Grady Dick. Grady Dick is honestly a small forward, but they have RJ Barrett. So okay, so you play RJ Barrett at the 2, Grady Dick at the 3. I guess that will work. But Jacoby Walter will be a bench player at that point, which he should be right now. Although we look at first round picks, especially picks in the teens, and think they're going to start, right? But not necessarily. I do not think, especially even if they keep Gary Trent Jr., he won't start over him. So I don't know if they will or will not. And they have Ochai Agbaji. I don't think he's a factor, but they have some talent. Oh, they still have Bruce Brown. Oh my God. Why did the Raptors make this selection? If you're a Raptors fan, let me hear from you. Why did you take Jacoby Walter? In my opinion, there were so many guys better than him. The backup point guard for the Raptors is Javon Freeman Liberty. I mean, he's a solid player. He's not a backup. Your backup center is Kelly Olynyk. Your number one center is Jakob Poeltl. That needs an upgrade. Your backup power forward, Ochai Agbaji, Jordan Noir. Why would you go shooting guard with this selection when you have Gary Trent and Bruce Brown? That's your biggest area of depth, really. So that's interesting to me. And it's not a short thing. Now, if you went Terrence Shannon, okay. But Jacoby Walter, I don't know about that pick, y'all. I'm trying not to kill picks because I mean he has some upside, but that is interesting for sure. The Cavs are on the clock. But I appreciate y'all watching the draft with me. This is a lot of fun. There has not been truly any like crazy pick though. So that's a bit surprising. If you don't remember the picks, let's go over them real quick. Number 1, Zachary Richardson to the Hawks. Number 2, Alex Sarr to the Wizards. Number 3, Reed Shepard to the Rockets. I didn't like that pick. Number 4, Stephon Castle to the Spurs. Number 5, Ron Holland to the Pistons. 6, Hornets to James Salon. Didn't really like that, but it is what it is. Good position, good styles. Blazers, Donovan Clingan. Spurs, Robert Dillingham, which that got traded to Minnesota. Grizz, Zach Edey. 10, Cody Williams to the Jazz. 11, Matas Buzelis to the Bulls. 12, Nikola Topic to the Thunder. 13, Devin Carter to the Kings. Wizards, Carlton Carrington to the Wizards. 15, Kel'el Ware to the Heat. 16, Jared McCain to the Sixers. 17, Dalton Connect to the Lakers. 18, Tristan Da Silva to the Magic. 19, Jacoby Walter to the Raptors. And the Cavs have selected Jalen Tyson. It's very funny that they selected Jalen Tyson because I compared him to Isaac Okoro. He's like the shooting version of Isaac Okoro, just not as good defensively. So, Cavs fan, that is a good value pick. I had him ranked 35, but in this draft class, anywhere from 20 to 35, they're pretty interchangeable. The talent is deep, deep. So I'm not mad at it, but I have him 35. Yeah. So Jalen Tyson, 6'7" from California, almost 20 points per game, 7 boards, 3.5 assists, 1 steal, 0.5 blocks per game, 36.5% from 3, 80% from the free throw line. So he's a good shooter. 21 years old. This could be a steal, guys, for the Cavs. They need a small forward. He can supplant Isaac Okoro, Karis LeVert. He moves very methodical to get to the basket. Jalen Tyson has a lot of hesitation in his dribble to get to the rack. He's a pro scorer, but his dribbling is not the best. Nothing really comes easy to him. He has to work very hard for his buckets. He's a good shooter, percentage-wise, but normally a slow set shot and not a natural offensive player. Very mechanical with his moves and movements. He has a muscular body for a small forward, but he's built like Isaac Okoro, plays like Isaac Okoro. Isaac Okoro is more smooth on offense, but Tyson's a better shooter. So he moves great on defense as well, plays the passing lanes great, moves his feet well, and good at getting steals. Great size to defend in the league. I just think it's a solid pick, honestly. Some people had him mocked a lot higher than this. I did not, but it is what it is. So we still have not had Isaiah Collier, Tyler Smith, Terrence Shannon, Eves Missy, Ryan Dunn, Trey Alexander, Deron Holmes. None of those guys have been selected yet. So who do you feel should be next up? How do you feel about those selections? Mm, Jalen Tyson was picked number 20. People are saying Walter makes sense for the Raptors if they're moving on from Trent. I'm just not high on Jacoby Walter, so it is what it is. So 21. And 21 is the Pelicans on the clock. So this is an opportunity to take a big. They have Brooke Lopez, no real true center backup. They could use shooting with Chris Middleton. They need a good. If Middleton's a three, they need a two. If Middleton's a two, they need a three. So, but around this point in the draft, they drafted my guy a few years ago, and he hasn't been able to play. Let me look at their depth chart. My guy, Marjon Beauchamp, and he's at the very end of the depth chart, which is crazy to me. So we will see. Like, you're not really going to get a starting shooting guard at this point in the draft. Yeah, they have Middleton listed as a three. So Bobby Portis is as a backup center, but I think Brook Lopez is like 35 at this point. You need a center or a shooting guard. You don't really have a backup point guard. I mean, you have Patrick Beverly, but I don't know if you're gonna stick with that or not. So it's some interesting spots the Bucks can go. Bucks fans, what do you want right here at 21? It's not been that many trades, y'all. Just got word on who they are selecting thanks to Twitter. I'm not supposed to be on Twitter seeing pics, but I did. But I'm not going to say it to this official. I think it's a good pick, too. Who do you think it is? Let me hear it. All right, here it is. Oh, wait. I'm still talking about the Bucks. The Bucks do not have this pick. Y'all could have told me this. No, this was the Bucks pick, but they traded it to the Pelicans. This has been the Pelicans for a while. So the Pelicans have selected Yves Missi. I'm gonna get y'all for not telling me this. No, I'm just kidding. But the Pelicans selected Yves Missi, my 12th ranked player, and they get him at 12. This is nice. 20-year-old center from Baylor, 6'11". Really, really, really good pick. This is a draft. I've said this all along, where the good teams are gonna get really good players because the top ranked players are mainly role players, and then the really good teams want role players. So, and there's like 45 good role players in this draft. So he's missing 6'11" from Baylor, 235 pounds, has 11 points, 5.5 boards, 1.5 blocks, 62% from the field, not a three-point shooter at all. So don't even think about that. But just think of them getting Clint Capella 2.0. Long athletic center, should be a good rebounder and shot blocker because he only played 23 minutes per game. If that was closer to 30, he would have more rebounds and blocks. But he's a rim runner, a lob threat, good pick and roll player. Anything near the rim, he's slamming it. He can dribble in the paint and get to the rim. No real post game where he's going to back you down or shoot a fadeaway or anything. But he's always cutting to the rim and looking for offensive rebounds. He's athletic, but a little bit weak when going up when it's not a dunk. But being 19 and this good is a good sign. He can become great. Has a few things he needs to work on and improve, but his ceiling is high. Has post moves and outside shooting needs to improve, and he fades away from contact when attacking the rim. But he's a tremendous shot blocker. Super long arms help him contest or block almost any shot. And his great leaping ability not only help him catch lobs, but also reject shots. Like I said, Clint Capella 2.0. And the fact that Derek Lively did so well with the draft, did so well with the Dallas Mavericks this year, I knew that would bring the trajectory of Yves Missi up in this draft. If I had him ranked at 12, he can do anything that Derek Lively can do, except for the outside shooting. So good selection here for the Pels. That means Jonas Valanciunas could be out the door. We're not sure. And yeah, I don't know. It's a little late in the draft now, So if Brandon Ingram is traded, it won't be for anyone in this class. It'll be for future picks. If I'm a team in NBA that needs a small forward, I'm getting Brandon Ingram. He's super talented. I'm not sponsored by Pepsi, but if you want to sponsor me, come on. If the stream cuts off, I will be back on here. So just bear with me. Check back in a few minutes. Because they said I had 2 hours, but I'm over 2 hours, so we'll see. I don't know. But the Suns are on the clock. The Suns are going to be able to get a really good play, and they need a point guard. If the Suns get Isaiah Collier, oh my God. So we got to move Eves Missy off the board. Best players left: Tyler Smith, well, Isaiah Collier, Tyler Smith, Terrence Shannon, Trey Alexander, Ryan Dunn, Tyler Collect, Deron Holmes, Pacome Daddy yet. It's kind of surprising he hasn't been selected yet as far as how high Tejan Salon got moved up. So there's only two guys past pick 25 on my big board that have been selected, and that's Jared McCain and Jacoby Walter. Otherwise, we're pretty much in a good vein of selections. There's no real outlier that's been overdrafted. You know, Jared McCain went 19th. I mean, Jacoby Walter went 19th. I have him ranked 30th. Jared McCain went 16th. No, yeah, 16th. I have him ranked 26th. But I'm lower on him than consensus. So for the most part, this draft has not been too crazy. The Suns need probably a center, a point guard, a power forward. So let's see what they do. And the Wizards are going to have another pick coming up soon too. So that's going to be fun. The Wizards took Alex Sarr and Bub Carrington. That's a home run. Wizards fans, y'all should be happy. Your team is still not really a team. Think there's some more moves you need to make. You might need to trade Jordan Clarkson and Kyle Kuzma. But you have some nice. Oh, there's a trade. Phoenix is trading the number 22 pick to Denver, and they're going to select Deron Holmes. So they traded up in front of the Bucks to get Deron Holmes. They were worried that the Bucks was going to take him or the Knicks were going to take him. So the Denver Nuggets think really highly of Deron Holmes to do that. How do you feel about that trade? Phoenix trades the 22nd pick to Denver and select Deron Holmes. The Nuggets are sending back 28, number 56, and 2 future seconds. That is not a lot. They moved up 6 spots for the 56th pick and 2 future seconds. That's nothing. That's crazy. I know Phoenix wants a lot of second round picks because they can't afford anything else, but you're at the 22nd pick. You're in prime position to get a starter. If you move to 28, you may not get a starter now. That is not a good trade for Phoenix. That is a That's a money hungry trade. And that money hungry trades are going to end up ruining your team. That's something you cannot do. They're getting Bronny. uh, Phoenix is planning on getting Bronny at 56, possibly, or 28, possibly. But you, Tony, you're being funny. That they might do that. They might say we're gonna get Bronny at 28. 22 is too rich, but 28, yeah, that's great. Okay, I'm thrown off by this trade, but let me give you the breakdown on Deron Holmes. He can play the 4 or the 5, but he's going to Denver. That's crazy. Deron Holmes would have fit good in Phoenix. 6'10", 220 pounds, averaged 20 points, 8.5 boards, 2.5 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks per game. And he's 22 years old, shot 38% from 3, not a ton of threes, but he's an excellent 3-point shooter and just a really good shooter in general. Moves very well for a center, can dribble to the rack from the perimeter, and that's rare for a big. He's good at the pick and roll, actually has a post game, runs the floor well. He's not stiff at all, has a quick first step for a big, hard to stop him going to the rim with the head of steam. He's just not very strong in the post yet. Needs to go up stronger at times. He does fade away very well and can hit the free throw jumper. He's a good passing big, sees the floor very well from the paint. That's all Jokic type stuff. So you see why the Nuggets like him. Passes out of doubles well, moves his feet well on defense, great shot blocker, tremendous protector of the paint, stays with smaller defenders, and if he does get beat, his length helps him recover with the shot. So they're going to have high hopes for Deron Holmes, it appears. Will he back up Jokic or will just be a strictly a 4? We do not know yet. Now we're on the Bucks. You know, we were talking about the Bucks a few minutes ago, so I went over their team already. But they would go with a 2 or a 5. And like I said, the Nuggets specifically traded up to take Deron Holmes from the Bucks and the Knicks. If the Deron Holmes was there for the Knicks, there's no way they were passing on him at 24 and 25. One of those would have been him. So interesting. The Bucks and the Nuggets could care less about second round picks. They do nothing for them. They don't even play their first round pick. So that was a steal from the Nuggets. You see the teams that are going for it. The Nuggets have had picks in the 30s, which are second round picks, and they haven't played for them. They haven't panned out. You got to be really good to crack the rotation in Denver. And so, depending on the year, these picks will not be high second round picks. So, to move up 6 spots from 28 to 22, that is crazy that that's all they had to give up. They should have got a player or something that you've seen that has potential. All right, let's see. Has there been any reaches to you guys? Any crazy picks? Let's see who the Bucks select. Suns fans are upset about that selection. They wanted Deron Holmes. Some people on Twitter saying I like Missy, but not in New Orleans. Who will the Bucks get? The Bucks are champions a few years removed. Will they get a piece that will help them get back there? And the Bucks have the 23rd and 33rd overall pick, so they definitely could have traded up if they had somebody in mind and they could have selected them, but they are here at 23. I would be taking Isaiah Collier for sure. You need a backup for Dame. Tyler Smith would be a good big for them. Terrence Shannon would be a good two for them. Those are three players left. They're my highest three ranked players left, and they all would fit the Bucks. Any questions? Hit me up. Everybody saying Denver got their guy. Ah, come on, Milwaukee. So far, I think the Bulls have had the best steal in the draft, and it fell in their lap. For the Bulls to get Matas Bazelis at 11, that's insane value. I'm sure Minnesota, I mean, they blew it out of the park with that trade. The Jazz got a huge steal with Cody Williams. A weird fit is Nikola Topic with the Thunder, but we will see what they do with that. The Heat getting Khalil Ware, we'll see how that fits, but talent, very worthy. Um, Not high on the Magic getting Tristan Da Silva. I think he would have fit better somewhere else. But talent-wise, yes. Cavs getting Jalen Tyson, that's a good pick for them. I'm very intrigued by Washington as well, Tony. Because not only are you just getting 2 first-round picks, you're getting 2 really excellent first-round picks. And, they're not a team where you say, "How are they gonna fit in with the team?" No, the team needs to fit in with these 2 guys because the trajectory of the team needs to change, and if it doesn't, those veterans need to get up out of there. Um, I think Jordan Poole's gonna have to be moved because he's not gonna be happy with Carlton Carrington coming in, taking his minutes and shot. And they clearly need to make some trades. But we'll see. We'll see. Someone said Ronnie James worked out for 2 teams, the Lakers and the Suns. The Lakers have the 55th pick, the Suns have a 56th pick. So we'll see. I don't expect either of those teams to get him. Either someone else is going to get him or it's not going to happen. Oh, y'all. This is a very intriguing selection right here. I'm kind of shocked by this pick, honestly. This is the range I had him in early on, but then when I thought about it more, I said he's a little raw for this. And the Bucks have selected AJ Johnson. He's from Australia's NBL, born in California. That's surprising, y'all. So I moved him down to 31. I had him at like 26, moved him down to 31, but it's because he's so young and so raw. He looks like a baby out there. And if you were going to draft him, he needs to go to a young team. This is not a young team. This is an old team. I don't know how they think he's going to fit in with them. Let me tell you about AJ Johnson if you don't know him. This is a bit of a surprise for me. The talent is there, but he's not playing at all this year for the Bucks. It's no way. But 6'5", he's 160 pounds. 160 pounds is what he played at in Australia. He averaged 3 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, no steals, no blocks, 35% from the field, 28% from three. So this is a reach, y'all. And I'm high on him at 31. This is a reach at 23 for a good team. But those numbers were in only 8 minutes per game. So you take that into account. He's 19 years old, but why was he only playing 8 minutes per game? He's the 23rd best player in this age range. AJ, the Bucks, I don't know what they're doing. You would think they would want a piece to help them now, but I guess they're just like, we're gonna run the team back. It's kind of crazy, y'all. But AJ Johnson, 6'5", explosive athlete, very fast, but still plays under control, can do everything on the offensive end, has a great handle. He can shoot it, he can score whenever he wants, he can break down the defense, he can shoot the three. He just didn't play enough. He should have stayed over here and not play internationally. They play the veterans over there. They don't care about the youngins. But he plays very much like Kevin Porter Jr. He can play the one or the two. He's a great handler of the ball and good facilitator. He will have to be projected. Like I said, like Peyton Watson, he averaged 3 points per game in college, and he ended up being a first-round pick. So AJ Johnson must have impressed in workouts, but a negative for him, he plays a little too pretty at times, a little too much dribbling. But other than that, which can be coached up, he's an exciting prospect. If he's not the guy, though, he can struggle to find another role that he's great at because he's used to having the ball in his hand. So for a win now team, I didn't think he would go to a win now team at all. What do y'all think about that selection? That's another reach, but you heard me say all the positive things. So all those positive things remain true. It's just a matter of, is that going to happen on the Bucks? I don't know. And yeah, there has been a trade. The Wizards have traded up to 24 to get this selection. If they get, I'm not gonna keep saying one player's name over and over, but okay, we just got word the Knicks have traded 24 to the Wizards for 26 and 51. Okay, that's kind of weird. They must have told the Knicks who they're going to select, and the Knicks were like, "Okay, we didn't want him anyway." But the Wizards are taking Keyshawn George, 24th overall. Knicks fans, how you feel? Knicks fans, how you feel? All right. This is fun, y'all. So, if you didn't hear that, the Wizards have selected Keyshawn George. They traded with the Knicks to move up 2 spots to get the big point guard from Miami. And when you're doing a trade like that, that is when honesty comes into play. They would not have done this if they had two guys on their list that they wanted and were not sure who they were going to take. So Keyshawn George was my 29th ranked player. He's 6'8", point guard from Miami. Only played 23 minutes per game and only scored 7 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, and 1 steal per game. 0.4 blocks per game. But he shot 41% from three, and he's a 6'8" point guard. So they love that. But good spot up 3-point shooter. Very slow point guard, but super tall, which is a unique plus, but his handle is average at best. I don't think he can play point guard in the NBA. He doesn't finish well in the paint. He's a project that should be in the G League for at least a year or two, but teams would love his size and shooting. He's just not fast, fluid, or talented enough to be an impact player in the NBA for a few years. Slow release on his shot as well. He's got good court vision. His vision may be his best feature, and that was utilized correctly. That was utilized incorrectly because he only averaged 2 assists per game. But he's a really talented passer. Just the way that the NBA is going now, you need to score as well. He's a great shot blocker because of his length, moves well defensively, and he's a problem for point guards because of his size, and he can guard up because he's 6'8". Now, Keyshawn George's passing and defense can be elite, which is why he's thought of highly in this class, but his offense still has a ways to go. The comparison for me was Delano Banton, but Banton moves much faster and is more fluid and more natural with the ball on his hands, But Keyshawn George shoots way better than Delano Banton. So, but that's an interesting selection for the Wizards. So now the Wizards have Alex Sarr, Carlton Carrington, and Keyshawn George. 3 talented guards. That's not a guy I would have selected, but they see something in him. How do you feel about that? Wizards fans, I need some Wizards fans in here to tell me how they feel about their draft because this is very interesting. Name some other guys you know. Isaiah Collier, Tyler Smith, Terrence Shannon are my top 3 players left on the board. And then you have Trey Alexander, Ryan Dunn, Tyler Collect, Pacome Dadiet, Cameron Christie. So we're on pick 25 now. Wow, and now Woj just tweeted the Knicks are in talks on moving the 26th pick, and they're selecting now at 25. So the Knicks are really making waves over the past few days and in this draft. So they have plans. They're trying to get some of those picks back, I'm sure, from what they did with Mikal Bridges. You know, teams that don't have a first, the Warriors, would they be trying to get in this draft? Let me see who else doesn't have a pick in this draft. Celtics pick last in this class. The Mavericks do not have a pick in this draft. Just in case you're wondering, the Clippers do not have a first round pick in this draft. I think those are the 3. So, what are the Knicks doing? They haven't done anything wrong. Just what are they doing? What do you guys think? 25, the Knicks. This has been a fun draft, y'all. I don't know if I'll live stream tomorrow, but this has been fun. I ain't really getting to enjoy it. But because I feel like I'm working a little bit, but I still am enjoying it because of your comments and feedback and the Twitter. But I'm checking like five things at once during the draft as opposed to just sitting back watching it. The second round is gonna be crazy. So I probably won't live stream that, but this has been really fun. I wanted to do it last year. I wasn't able to. Having a good time with you guys. Hopefully, I can post this on my podcast as well. Who should the Knicks get? They've been doing a lot of moving. Do they know what they're doing? I expect Pacom Daddy to be one of the picks for sure. I wouldn't be mad at Ryan Dunn or Tyler Collect at one of the picks as well. That's just where I see the Knicks going. But they should select Tyler Smith, no doubt, and probably Pacom Daddy. I would get those two guys and get up out of here. But we will see. They have a prime selection to get two good young prospects and both with size. They are loaded at the 1, 2, and 3. The Knicks need some size. There's no way they need a guard now. The Knicks are in a great spot, y'all. And at 25, you think there's nobody left on the board. There's guys left on the board, y'all. Guy I haven't talked about, Cam Christie. Really good point. Shooting guard, excuse me. Um, the Knicks don't need a guard, but these guys are coming. Let's see. Quentin Post, Kyle Filipowski. They could go Kyle Filipowski. How do you feel about Filipowski, the center from Duke? Let's talk about Hartenstein maybe being out the door. As we know, the Knicks got Mikal Bridges for 5 first-round picks and a pick swap and Bogdanovich. So the future is shallow. So that's why I wouldn't mind them going with Pacom Daddy because he's so young. Ariel Hukporti, good center. Adem Bona. So there's plenty of guys the Knicks could go with in this selection. They're taking their time. Let me check what's going on Twitter. And Woj just tweeted the Knicks are targeting Pacom Daddy, which I told you heard it here first. And it looks like the pick is in. The Knicks did select Pacom Daddy from France. That is not surprising at all. Great selection. And with the lack of picks in the future now, this is a guy that may not play that much this year, but in the future, he will be ready for you guys. How do you feel about this, Knicks fans? That's a good pick. And I have Pacom Tadier at 27, 6'8", 190 pounds for France, average 6 points, 2 boards, a half steal per game, 47% from the field, 34% from three, only 18 years old, and that was only in 15 minutes per game. Pacom has a great handle of the ball and speed to his game. Nice turnaround jump shot. Pretty good shot in general. Definitely worth the shot in the 20s. And here he goes at 25. Has the age, size, shooting ability, and athleticism. He's not a project, but hasn't played much because that's how they do it internationally. We've been over that. So he may need a year to develop even more before he really gets an opportunity. But the tools are there. Great hustle defender. Of course, Tibbs loves that. Can pretty much guard the 1 through 4 because he moves his feet well. and has quick hands. So great selection by the Knicks. I think they should go with a bit of a bigger prospect because he's 6'8". Get Tyler Smith, and your draft will be complete. But there's talks that the Knicks may trade this 26 pick, so we will see. Hmm. Fun draft, y'all. Super, super fun. Who has been a bust for you in this draft? Who has been the biggest reach? Who's had the best draft? Let's hear your feedback. Obviously, it's a little bit unfair to say who had the best draft when the Wizards have had 3 picks. So they, of course, are looking better than most teams. But you could say the Timberwolves have the best draft and they didn't even make their pick. And the Timberwolves still have a pick coming up at 27. And I think they really need a small forward. If they can get a really good small forward, they are going to be able to say they had the best draft, no doubt. It's getting word that the Knicks are making the 26th pick now because there was talk that they were going to trade it. Looks like they're going to keep it. I can see Kyle Filipowski here, Tyler Smith here. What do you guys think? I know I'm about to lose my voice. So, but pardon me for not speaking for a minute. Nothing's going on right now. You have any questions? Bring them on. We'd love to answer them. Uh, Andre Gallagher just sent me something on Twitter. Said, "Pack on, Daddy." He's super happy that he got him. We talked about him on the Ethos Knicks podcast. So the Knicks fans are happy about that one. That's a good selection. Who do you want the Knicks to select here? Yeah, I got to get on Twitter, man, or X as they call it. But this is fun engaging with you guys on here as well. It's more live here, so that's fun. Who do you want the Knicks to select at 26? Knicks at 26. The draft is almost over, y'all. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So 5 more picks. It looks like the Knicks are not trading this one. And everyone's talking on Twitter how the Isaiah Collier slide has been ridiculous. I completely agree. It's criminal how far Isaiah Collier is falling. And if he doesn't go to a team where he's going to be a starter, he can be lost in the shuffle. when this is a guy that could have been a starting type of player, an all-star potential player. I feel he's done nothing wrong to be pushed down this far in the draft. Wow. Wow. If it is, I, they're talking about Dylan Jones, so it's possible this is the pick. This will be a horrible selection. Horrible selection if the Knicks take Dylan Jones. Ooh. I hope this is not the pick. I mean, they killed it with Back Home Daddy. Oh, the Thunder. Okay, the Thunder via the Knicks are selecting Dylan Jones. The Thunder have traded up to 26 and have selected Dylan Jones from Weber State. This is a horrible pick by the Thunder. Oh man. Thunder fans, you picked two players that you're not going to use. Okay, I got to tell you guys where I have Dylan Jones ranked. He is the 54th ranked prospect on my big board. 54. So we officially have the biggest reach now. Do y'all even know Dylan Jones? He's from Weaver State. I'm gonna go into the details about him. Let me just put this little banner for y'all down here. I need to see the details of this trade, and I want to get that to you. All right. Until the details come in, that is outrageous. I try not to call nobody out as like it was a horrible pick. I know they're not going to see this, but Dylan Jones at 26. Okay, that's crazy. Okay, Dylan Jones is 6'6". Well, they listed him at 6'5". 22 years old from Weber State. He's a senior. Averaged 21 points, 10 and a half boards, 10 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, 64% from the field, 32% from three. He is a hardworking, tough player. Just picture Ron Artest running around out there. That's how he moves. Um, but he also moves like a bigger Marcus Smart offensively. He can pull up from three with confidence, but nothing seems to come easy. He either has to go one-on-one or struggle to get to the paint to score. A lot of crossovers and maneuvering to get to the rack. He played like a one-man band. Not high on Dylan Jones at all. But in that description, you do hear a New York Knicks type of player. Oh, well, but I mean, he's a Thunder. That's just a horrible pick by the Thunder. Like, and once again, they picked another smaller size guy. Okay, OKC is sending 5 second-round picks to the Knicks for Dylan Jones at 26. That's weird too. What? Why would you give up the 26 pick for 5 second-round pick? What do you think about that, guys? I would give up 5 second-round picks for a first-round pick, but not to waste on Dylan Jones. And so the Knicks must think there's no player worthy of having at 26 in this draft class, and I would say they were horribly wrong in that area. But I think the Thunder are horribly wrong by taking Dylan Jones. Mm. Interesting. So the Timberwolves are on the clock. We know they traded up earlier to get Rob Dillingham from the Spurs for a 31st, 2031 first round pick. I got to write this down, y'all. The Thunder traded 5 second round picks. That's crazy. Okay, what I tweeted was the Thunder traded 5 second round picks for Dylan Jones. That was a horrible selection. If they would have traded for um, Tyler Smith, then that would have been worth it. I'm fine with that, but not for Dylan Jones, even though he was a very productive player. They don't need any more 6'5" players. Unless Lou Dort is out the door, they're gonna get rid of Lou Dort for a big or something. Other than that, blah blah blah. Timberwolves have selected one of my favorite prospects in this class, Terrence Shannon. Awesome pick. Where's the plus symbol? I gotta write A plus 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 for the Timberwolves. Someone wrote to me, Diet Dort. So yeah, Dylan Jones is basically Diet Dort. So I that's funny. Okay, the Timberwolves select Terrence Shannon Jr., my 10th ranked prospect in this class. Now that's a draft pick right there. He is 6'6", sometimes 7, 210 pounds from Illinois. Averaged 23 points per game, 4 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 57% from the field, 36% from three, 80% from the free throw line. Lefty, elite scorer, flashes on screen, especially when driving to the basket, makes incredible passes, explosive to the rim, wild at times, but super athletic, always attacking the rim. His speed is unusual for a shooting guard, makes him hard to contain. He can blow by you, and if he's stopped, he can pull up for the J, can get his shot anytime. High riser on offense and defense, great at chase down blocks, has the athleticism and speed to translate. Very quick first step crossover. Can hit the step back three. His concerns are his age. Obviously, being a senior is frowned upon. He was clearly the man at Illinois, had the keys to do whatever he wanted in the NBA. How will that be? But also, he was accused of rape, and that tarnished his name during this season. He was suspended, all types of horrible things with his name this season. But that recently came out as proof that he did not do it. The girl that accused him had messages in her phone saying, haha, we got him. Like basically, it was all a setup to get money or whatever. And it was proven that Terrence Shannon was innocent. And they ruined this young man's senior year and his reputation and his name. I think jail time should be something they should be looking at. Um, with all that being allegedly, if that's what I've heard, so that's what I'm reporting as far as what I've heard allegedly. Don't sue me, but clearly he was proven innocent. But to be a knockdown bucket getting scorer like Terrence Shannon, to get him at 27, this is insane. Him and Anthony Edwards on the same team, look out. He's a great spot up 3-point shooter as well. That's always needed. Gets to the free throw line a lot. 6'8" wingspan. I'm so happy about Minnesota in this selection. That is insane, insane talent to Minnesota. Minnesota might be my favorite team now. Somebody on Twitter said, just imagining the Knicks putting Dylan Jones in the vending machine and 5 second-round picks come jingling out of the bottom. That's hilarious. Oh, we have a trade. The Nuggets send 28 and 56 to the Suns. Phoenix moves back several slots again to pick up more assets. So we have another trade. So this is interesting. So what I'm saying is the Nuggets send this to the Suns. But then it also said Phoenix moves back several slots and picks up assets. So there's more to this. Mm. There's a lot of talk on Twitter, but I gotta make sure this is accurate before I report it. So let's see what's happening here. The end of the draft is getting tricky, guys. And we're at pick 28. So it's 28, 29, 30. And we'll wrap this up. And this is why it's so important to have the draft on 2 different days. This has been amazing. And imagine a second round after this. That would be too much. It's too much. I'm so happy to draft this tomorrow. Teams will get a chance to recoup. Think of all the trades that are going down near the end of this draft. This has been amazing. And now we get a break. We get to relax, recoup, come back tomorrow and see what happens tomorrow. And as you've seen, still a lot of good names on the board. Let's see. Isaiah Collier, Tyler Smith, Terrence Shannon, Trey Alexander, Ryan Dunn, Tyler Calais. I think I'm like 25 seconds behind on this draft selection, but I'm still not gonna say it till you say it. How you guys feeling about the draft? How are you guys feeling? We've been streaming 2 hours and 50 minutes. And like the trades that recently went down, I don't even know whose pick this is right now. The talk is right now is Isaiah Collier. So I didn't see the 28th pick. I gotta find who the 28th pick was. Okay. It says Ryan Dunn is selected 28th by the Nuggets. Okay. So the Nuggets selected Ryan Dunn. Excellent pick. Incredible pick. Defensive stopper. Let me give you the notes on Ryan Dunn. I saw that there was a trade, so I'm guessing Phoenix had 28, traded it to the Nuggets. They were able to select Ryan Dunn. Excellent pick. I need to know what they gave up to do that because Ryan Dunn is my 19th ranked player, 6'8" from Virginia, 8.7 boards, 1.3 steals, 2 blocks per game. 20% from three, so that's a negative. Everything else, super athletic, high flyer, good form on his shot, not a good 3-point shooter. Only 20%, obviously, but he has a good form, so I think that can be fixed. He has an elite first step. Ryan Dunn, very fast attacking the paint, gets to the paint like a man on a mission, very aggressive and going to the ball. Great rebounder for his size, great help defender, elite shot blocker for his size. His athleticism always keeps him in play on defense, moves his feet well, fast and swift moving. You would not think he's 6'8" by the way he moves. Never gets beat off the dribble. This could be Herb Jones 2.0, and he's 6'8" for the championship Nuggets. They may be losing KCP. Now they have Ryan Dunn. He might come in and get minutes right away. I talked about how the Nuggets players do not normally get minutes as rookies. This is different, and Ryan Dunn possibly could. Excellent pick. Now, next on the clock, the Jazz have made their selection. And the Jazz have selected Isaiah Collier. It's about effing time. That's all I gotta say. My number one prospect in this draft class just went 29. That is insane. I'm pissed for Isaiah Collier. And he's gonna make the league regret this. 6'3", 6'4" from USC, 205, 19 years old, number one player in 2023 class, lightning fast, has that wow factor, great size, good shooter, above average shooting, which is great for his position. He's an electric player, has a great handle crossover, gonna be the fastest player on any court. Can most definitely get his own shot at any time, can back down his defender, play a little bullet ball with the smaller guards. Great size, great weight for his position. One of the best point guard prospects I've seen in a while. He's a little beast out there at 205. He bullies other point guards that are normally 180, 185. His vision may be better on defense than it is on offense. It's crazy how good of a shooter he is. I mean, player, prospect in general, he is. Can stop on a dime with the J. Y'all know how I feel about Isaiah Collier. He could be the next John Wall. And going at 29 I wish he wouldn't have went to the Jazz, but at this point, he just needed to be selected, and I'm happy for him. And the Celtics have selected with the last pick in the first round, Baylor Scheierman. And that's a good pick for the Celtics. They got a shooter. I would have liked for them to get Tyler Smith. They need a replacement for Al Horford, but it is what it is. This draft has been amazing, guys. Thanks for sticking with me the whole way. This was fun. I'll let you watch the draft tomorrow in peace. Unless you want me back, I might do it. You never know. But let's go to Baylor Scheierman. And he's a guy the consensus was high on, but not for me. I have Baylor Scheierman at 49th. 6'6" from Creighton, 18 and a half points per game, 9 boards, 4 assists, 1 steal, 38% from three. He's a fifth-year senior. He's a lefty. Makes some great passes out there, great court vision. Has an awkward shot, kind of a sideways left-handed jumper. Can pull up off the dribble, or spot up, hit the three, can put it on the floor, get to the paint. Smart, heady player, crafty when it comes to getting the shot or making an assist for his teammates. Pretty good athlete, but probably a second rounder or in the G League. And being with the Celtics, he's not going to get many minutes at all. But when there's injuries, when there's rest, when there's blowouts, I can see him coming in. He obviously can play the Sam Hauser role, but they didn't really need this position or player. They need a big, but so it's kind of wild to me. Let me see the rest of the bigs that's out here. Kyle Filipowski, that's who I had him projected to take. But yeah, the biggest snub left is Tyler Smith, Trey Alexander, Tyler Collette, Cam Christie. Other than that, the draft went pretty solidly the way it should have. I think the Celtics would have been much better off with Quentin Post, Kyle Filipowski, big man, Adem Bona, uh, Tyler Smith. But they're not worried about it. If they get a big, I guess he'll be free agent. But you see how important bigs are. Think about how Nas Reed was for Minnesota as a backup. You know, the Celtics don't really have that. They have KP, Kristaps Porzingis, but he's out of the lineup a lot. You know, you have Luke Cornett. He's not he's not scaring anybody. Al Horford literally might retire. So what are you gonna do about that position? I think that should have been more in the thought process. But thank you guys so much for following me and listening to this YouTube, this NBA draft special first round 1 through 30. This was amazing. Thanks for all your comments, keeping me going. Um, I'll try to get this on the podcast as well. If not, enjoy it on YouTube. But this was a fun draft, 1 through 30. Finally, Isaiah Collier got drafted. He's gonna make a lot of people pay. Uh, but subscribe, like, comment to the All Rookie Podcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me. This was fun. Till tomorrow, I'm out of here. Peace, y'all.